And it's interesting to me, I believe that there is a direct correlation. I think there's a direct connection between what is happening in our culture where you don't dare touch somebody and the anger that people feel. People feel so alone and isolated. And people that I've met over the years at conventions, 500 at a time, appreciate the hug and the kindness and that openness. And just a couple don't. You know, just a few. But it ends up ruining it for everybody. Because suddenly you're afraid to just reach out and be kind to somebody. And they may desperately need that. You know?
It would appear that the story of Vic Mignogna's defense against the accusations made against Monica Rial, Ronald Toye, and Jamie Marchi looks to be finally coming to its end, as a little under 24 hours ago, we finally had a ruling from the judge in having to dismiss several of the points and complaints made against Jamie Marchi, Ronald Toye, and Monica Rial, as on this video, we are going to be covering the updates for the case, along with seeing what members of the KickVic movement have been saying in celebrating in this idea that Percy Ty Beard has absolutely no chance in winning this case, because there is one thing that Vic Mignogna can walk away from, and we are going to touch bases on this on today's video. As once more, before we begin, if you are new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with all things involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and many of the news and updates involving the Vic Mignogna case, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up if you guys do stand with Vic, as well as making sure to check out and subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, to where there you guys will be able to find lots of anime and Dragon Ball content that you guys will not get to find on here. And follow me at Twitter at UnrealNetwork to stay connected with me at all times. And if you have anything you would like to share or tag me in involving Vic Mignogna or any of the parties involved in this case, then be sure to go on ahead and follow me at Twitter. Now, to further kick things off, it would appear that Judge Chup has in fact dismissed several of the points made from Vic Mignogna in direct correlation to the defendants Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, and Ronald Toye, as Jamie Marchi has now been set to walk away freely with no repercussions on this actual case. So Jamie Marchi had finally walked away, as confirmed by Nick Rekieta, as Nick Rekieta went along to state, and I quote, "Important note, Sam Johnson, who is the legal representative of Jamie Marchi, kicked ass at that hearing, convincing the judge that something he argued over, specifically Jamie's actual defamatory statement, somehow wasn't a part of the record, was magnificent. And I mean that with all sincerity. So Jamie Marchi is no longer a part of the case. Jamie Marchi has now been cleared, and she is now going to further be walking away, as of course the case now is coming to a close. But very interestingly enough, Jamie Marchi took it on Twitter to go on ahead and post something which I think is very condescending in its nature, as Jamie went along to post, and I quote, "The trash hath been taken out." So of course indicating the fact that the trash is Vic Mignogna. She won the case against him, and now she is scot-free. Now, I will say, on both sides of the aisle, everybody seems to universally agree that Sam Johnson, the legal representative of Jamie Marchi, kicked ass in the courtroom, and to many cases was slapping Ty Beard's arguments around as if he was a child. So respect and props goes out to Sam Johnson for his defense of Jamie Marchi. So in case you're wondering, Jamie Marchi is finished, she is clear, she is scot-free, and she will now go back to resuming her life without the involvement of Vic Mignogna and the legal representatives that back him up in this case. But the biggest shocker out of all of this is how tortious interference was tossed away from the judge, as Nick Rekieta went along to tweet, and I quote, "Yep, judge has not ruled on defamation for Rial, Toye, and Funny, also not ruled on conspiracy for Rial and Toye, dismissed all other causes. Some dismissals are clearly questionable, but the next step is strategically what, if anything, you challenge. So of course this means by dismissal of all causes implies that tortious interference was completely dismissed, despite the fact that we saw all of the irrefutable evidence that back up the claim that Ronald Toye was behind everything. One of the major points as to why tortious interference was dismissed on behalf of Vic Mignogna and Kamea was the fact that yes, there was evidence there to prove that Ronald Toye participated in trying to get Vic removed from attending Kamea, but when the judge asked if in any kind of way Vic still attended and Vic conceded that he went, the case in point right there was dismissed, being the fact that Ty also forgot to add the other contracts from the other conventions that also prove that Vic Mignogna was obligated in showing up. The judge did make a point in the fact that if Ronald Toye participated in taking money away from Vic Mignogna, the point is Vic Mignogna still went to the convention and he made money. So the case in point here is more or less, did he try to take money from you? Yes. Were you still able to go to the convention and make money? Yes. So that's all the judge needed, and that sucks to hear, because if Vic had not went to Kamea, then the case of tortious interference I believe would have favored him that much more in the fact that he was prevented from going and making money at the convention, which directly breaches the contract, and I feel, as well as many other people within the I Stand With Vic community and even KickVic community, in saying that Ty's arguments simply weren't strong enough. So the only thing left right now, as further confirmed by Nick Rekieta, are defamation and conspiracy on behalf of Rial, Toye, and Funimation. So this doesn't look good for Vic in the slightest, but the KickVickers are on their high horse on Twitter and celebrating, slandering everybody, as we are going to be taking a look at some examples right now, as of course Shane Holmberg took it on Twitter as he went along to post, and I quote, "Well yeah, of course, and Nick was never in it for Vic. For him, it was sweet grifting Patreon and super chat money. Being a lawyer, he can't be this dumb. So it is probably another Alex Jones scenario. Everything he says on air is just an act, which of course makes it worse." So Shane is implying that Nick is putting on this act to simply take everybody's money, and that's one of the main narratives that people have been running with, is the fact that they're accusing Nick of taking everyone's super chat money, taking everyone's Patreon money, and they're beginning to question as to why that is. So Shane is running with that narrative along with seemingly enough dozens of other people within the KickVic community, and calling him a grifter, which they have for many months, but also saying that it was because of Nick that Vic had lost the case, and that I strongly disagree with. As I will say, just as I did in the beginning of this video, tortious interference I think was the big kicker for me, because there was so much proof. Mind you, the judge actually took in Chuck Huber and Chris Slaytosh's affidavits, right? He accepted those, and he did even go on record to state that the filing timing was a little silly, so he didn't care that Percy had filed a tad bit late, but even those affidavits right now are not in effect when looked at against Ronald Toye, in the fact that it was confirmed, yes, that Ron did participate in pulling this man away from conventions. But being that Vic still went to Kamea after Ronald Toye tried to take money from him and went along ahead to make money at Kamea, that hurt his case. But the one thing that I think could have helped him out is if Ty Beard actually had the contracts and irrefutable evidence to back up the other conventions that canceled him, in which Vic was unable to attend. As it gets worse, as Therese27, who in fact actually went to the hearing herself, went along to tweet, and I quote, "My God, I am glad to come see Percy bumble like an idiot in person. It's epic. Chubb clearly thinks he's an idiot. He pushed Sam Johnson because that's his job, but Percy has him eye-rolling and face-palming." I'm not sure how true this is, in the fact that I heard that Ty Beard did have solid points, but they simply weren't good enough, and he didn't have the necessary tools or evidence to back up some of those things, which of course did end up hurting the case as a whole. But look at how Therese is very condescending in having to call Ty a blithering idiot and further having to insult him, but also give him credit at the same time for pushing Sam Johnson. So really weird flex on that end, but again, these people are having a field day and having to rejoice in the fact that Vic Mignogna's career and his livelihood is ruined. There's no justice for that, and I do believe that every single person hearing the sound of my voice right now needs to be there for Vic, especially now that he's going through this, because earlier on this year, the guy was diagnosed with depression, he was diagnosed with anxiety, he was diagnosed with a lot of things that could really cripple a person mentally and physically. So if there's anything that I do call for, I do call for you guys to be there in spirit for Vic Mignogna. Show him some love. If you see him at conventions, show him some love. There's so much more to cover on the next video that I have lined up for you guys, but I want you to sit here and listen to the message having to be put out by Vic. I always include this clip because it's a very powerful clip that I need you guys to sit on and really think about. So again, thank you all so much for your time. If of course you guys are new to this channel and support Vic Mignogna, then be sure to slap that subscribe button, guys, and turn on all notifications. Hit this video up with a big fat like if you guys do still stand with Vic, and of course follow me on Twitter. If you guys have any case updates, if you guys have anything to tag me in or share with me, then be sure to tag me over at Unreal and Gaming. The link to my Twitter will be located down below. Tune back in for more. I have more updates for you guys within the day, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
You reflect on things that are going on, you know what I mean? Difficulties and people and motivations and agendas, you know. I had a thought. I want to share it with you guys. It's just a general observation, and I hope you'll take this home with you. Our world is becoming more and more angry. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yes.
People are angry. People are angry. And here's what I was thinking the other day. I watched a movie on an airplane a few weeks ago. 5 feet apart, 6 feet apart. It was about a girl that had a disease that makes you very susceptible to germs and stuff. And so no one's supposed to get within, like, you're not supposed to get within like 6 feet or 5. And she, cystic fibrosis? Could that be it? I think that's what it was. So she was literally in a hospital. Like, she literally lived in a hospital. And she fell in love with this boy who was also in the hospital with the same disease. So they're not allowed to be near each other, but they really like each other. The movie began, this is the part I want you to hear. The movie began with a little narration. And it was the girl that played the main character girl, and she said this. She said, oh, hold on. I want to get it right.
Take your time, take your time.
Right.
She said something to the effect of, actual studies have shown that children, especially babies and children, need human contact as much as they need air. See, here's what I've been contemplating lately. Human contact is being vilified.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
In our culture, you don't dare reach out and connect with another human. Oh, I'm too afraid. What if they're offended? Yeah, that's why we're in the problem. That's why we're in the world that we're in now. Because I came from an era, and I'm Italian. Any Italians in here? Italian, right? La Familia, huh? You know it. So, all my life, you hug people. You're open and you're kind to people. And it's interesting to me, I believe that there is a direct correlation. I think there's a direct connection between what is happening in our culture where you don't dare touch somebody and the anger that people feel. People feel so alone and isolated. And people that I've met over the years at conventions, 500 at a time, appreciate the hug and the kindness and that openness. And just a couple don't. You know, just a few. But it ends up ruining it for everybody. Because suddenly you're afraid to just reach out and be kind to somebody. And they may desperately need that. You know? This young lady, I'm going to pick on you.
That's fine.
This young lady could be going through the worst time in her life right now. And it was all she could do. It took every ounce of energy she could find to drag herself to this event to meet me. Okay? And she might be in such a bad place emotionally, been abandoned by a parent or a sibling or a boyfriend, and the fact that I came up, may I?
It's fine.
The fact that I came up to her and did this, and looked her in the face and acknowledged her and connected with her, might give her the strength she needs to continue. Whereas if I sat behind the table and went, thanks for coming. Fist bump. And then she goes home and she is as lonely and feels as disconnected as she ever did. So I'm not even applying this to my situation. I hope you understand this. I'm talking about our world. People have become so angry and so easily offended by everything. And I really think that there is a connection between the culture that is telling us, don't you dare touch anybody. Don't connect. No human contact. Because it could be offensive or it could be misconstrued. But I think there's a connection between that and the isolation people feel and the anger that they feel. It would never be my desire to hurt anyone. I would never in a billion years want to offend or hurt anyone. That has never been my intention or my desire.
That's why we're here.
I believe you guys know that about me. And so I just wanted to take a minute because, like I said, I sit around my house alone thinking about these things. Maybe too much. But I really believe that's true. I really believe that's true. So if you have people in your lives, hug them. You know, reach out and just acknowledge them. That little bit of human contact right there. Now, he could go home and say I assaulted him.
Not fair. Why am I getting picked on?
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? This is not assault, everyone. And you know what? It's actually an offense to people that are actually assaulted. I mean, think about that. You know? So I just want you guys to know my heart. That's all. I want you to know that I appreciate so much you guys being here and your kindness and your support for me and my work over the years. I have taken my position in this industry very seriously as long as I've been in it. I've seen it as something much bigger than just a job. I feel like it's been an opportunity to connect with people and to hopefully try to be a positive influence and an encouragement to people. And that's been the greatest privilege for me. And I really think that our culture has changed and not for the better. I think people need that human contact, like that movie said. I think it's as valuable to us as oxygen. So I really hope, and you know what, there's so many more of us. Do you realize there are so many more good people in the world than there are the offended, outraged? So many more of us, but we go about our lives. We're responsible, you know, we have jobs and we have families, we have relationships. We just go about our lives while this handful of people changes the whole landscape. And the majority of us are standing back on what's going on. Like, how is this happening? So you guys, Be a voice for good. Be a voice for light and kindness and connect with people. Because you never know who in your life needs it badly. You know? Sorry. Soapbox is over. Sorry.